Hey, what's up, fantasy people? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, and Jason, the lucky bastard Ethan Wolt, coming at you live from the West Coast. And this is the Fantasy Football Show. Today's episode is top 20 running back, non-analytic, we're not going over stats. It's just kind of like a gut feeling, like who would you want to trade for type of stuff. Because we all know who we wanted to trade for and who we wish we had going through, the last 4 or 5 weeks. So I'm just kind of doing it that way. And then Jason's going to kind of like review it with me and kind of, share his opinion on all the picks. But before we get into that, Jason, would you please tell these people, the public, how they could help this show?
Yeah, the public can help this show by doing a simple click of the button where they get a subscription. You click that little alert button, and anytime we post a video, it goes straight to your notifications, and you can be one of the first people to watch it. And then during that, you could do some likes too. We like the likes. And if you're feeling a little bit creative, you can also leave some comments and get some interaction between Tyler and myself. We love it all, and we appreciate it. Also, there's an Instagram, the Fantasy Football and Show. Check it out if you want to see more content.
Thank you, Jason. You're so good at that.
That was probably like my smoothest one. I actually really like that one. I wish we could just like cut that and edit it, and then you say it every time, and like it'd be like wearing different shirts.
I was going to say, you'd be like, Jason, it was like, would you please help them tell the public? And it just like clips.
Yeah.
And then you look a totally different person.
Yeah. Yeah. That was good. That was fun.
That'd be funny. All right. So if you had to guess who the number 1 pick is, Jason, not overall. We're not doing running backs overall next year. It's like Travis Kelce or Justin Jefferson for me, but
right.
We'll talk about that later. Who's the number 1 running back on your board if you had to guess?
On my board, personally, okay, there's like 2 running backs. There's some things that would probably happen to determine which one I would get. But right now, in this system, in today's age, on January 10th, 2023, I would probably have to go with McCaffrey.
I think that is the right choice. And it will be interesting to see, because do you remember, like, man, when Elijah Mitchell was there, he was getting a lot of play, and it was like, oh my God, dude, Christian McCaffrey is not going to get that much usage. So that is the thing, the risk, but he has a higher ceiling, I think, than, any other running back in this draft. So going off a ceiling between him and number 2, and then Jason, I want to talk about his age. So the only other thing we're going to say his name, and the only other thing I'm putting in a factor into this is age. He's going to be, and all these ages are, I looked at the birthdays. This is all when the season starts. So he's going to be 27 next year, Jason.
Oh, good old 27. That's when I was able to bridge out of California and go see the rest of the world.
Do you remember that? Is that really when you moved?
I was 27. And I went to New Mexico for some reason.
Hey, man, anywhere was better than Bakersfield. So, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a different time. But you know what? When I was 27, I still felt like, oh yeah, I got it. I got the stuff. I'm young. I'm healing from every little thing. I don't even get sick, bro. I don't even get sick. I'm a strong dude. Nothing can stop me. Tackle me 400 times. It don't matter. I'll heal up. So, that's still, he's under 30. He's not 29, not 28. I like 27. So pretty good.
And one thing I want to say, so he played, every single game he was the injury prone person that you didn't want to draft. He played every single game this year. Jonathan Taylor Thomas, so, injured most of the year. So from now on, I mean, we knew this before, but you can't predict injury. If somebody's injury prone, it doesn't really mean much, unless it's like, Mr. Glass from whatever that movie was, Broken. Like, it doesn't mean anything. That's not Broken. Mr. Glass. What is that movie? Unbroken?
Touchable. Oh my
Unbreakable?
God. Unbreakable. Unbreakable.
Is it Unbreakable? I thought Unbreakable was that one where the World War II dude was like holding something over his head.
That might be another one. Mr. Glass is also in Split.
So, anyways, yeah, but like what we're trying to say is
Bruce Willis. Yeah, sorry, go on.
It is Unbreakable. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Great movie. Go back and watch that before all the superhero craze. Check that one out. But yeah, dude. So don't worry about the injury thing. Just draft Christian McCaffrey as your number one running back. So, and Jason, number two running back on my list, Austin Ekeler. I know that's who
Yeah.
you were thinking too.
Yeah.
He's also 27.
Oh, so they're both still in that age where they're maturing. They're starting to think about family and their future and starting to.
Yeah, he's a gamer, dude. He's all he does is play games.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he needs that full year of being 27 before he starts to think about that stuff. But Austin Eckler, I agree with that because he still put on a lot of show. The only reason why he put in the touchdowns, he put in the work. I still don't. Oh man, I should have looked to see what he ended up the regular season with. But also the part of the reason why I wanted to start with McCaffrey is just because they both get the receptions, they both get the rushing. McCaffrey's also in there getting some thrown touchdowns every now and then, and I feel like they are playing. The Niners obviously this year look like a better team than the Chargers, but the Chargers we'll see what happens next year. They played through a lot of injuries this year. They could still be electrifying, and like Eckler can't really be mad going Eckler number 1 too next year.
Well, Jason, you just pointed out one huge thing was, I mean, in fantasy football, especially if we're playing half point PPR, if you can get a pass catching running back, dude, that's like an extra 50% of a player almost.
Yeah.
So you're looking at Christian McCaffrey and Austin Eckler. Those are the two best pass catching running backs in the league, and they're also getting volume running and goal line carries and stuff like that. So that's why they're the clear top two. And you can go probably either way, but Christian McCaffrey, I think, has a higher ceiling. So I mean, that's pretty set in stone. I mean, not set in stone because Chargers can always draft some crazy running back. I know they have Spiller, but I mean, he never really came to fruition this year or anything. So Jason, I talked to you about this, and this is where we might start to differ. Number 3 is Derrick Henry.
Well, okay. So it's not like that I really differ from that, right? Like, yes, he could be down as one of the top 5 running backs, but it's all about when you're going to draft that running back, right? He could be the number 3rd running back, but he's not being picked up until, number 9 or number 10 because of all the wide receivers that I would rather have before him. So if Derrick Henry, that's what it was with me for this year when I had Joe Mixon. I had the 9th pick, and then Joe Mixon was there. I'm like, I'm going to pick Joe Mixon. Next year, if that was the same case, I have the 10th pick, 8th pick, 9th pick. Derrick Henry's there. I'm going to get Derrick Henry that late. In our league, you also get a back. It's a snake draft. So, and two, if you have number 10, you got back to back. Derrick Henry, boom. Davante Adams, boom. I'll take that.
Oh, they're going to say Tyreek Hill.
No, Tyreek Hill, I'm sure would be. I mean, Davante Adams, he might even be gone before Derrick Henry. It could be Davante Adams, CeeDee Lamb.
Dude, I was looking at some I was just kind of guesstimating my top 10, and I was like, dude, there's you're right, man. Like Derrick Henry is maybe the 3rd, just due to volume, guaranteed volume. Like literally, that's it. Because he's going to be 29. So if you're getting into the Thomas Jones, and I forget who else you said, arms like a python. You said we were talking about somebody else.
That was Frank Gore.
Yeah, Frank Gore. So I mean, and he is a special player, but you can see he's not what he once was. I mean, all his big players are coming on screens now. They're not he's still amazing. You saw him throw that dude out of the stadium.
Yeah, they're still looking for that guy.
Yeah, right. But Jason, so who would you rather have? So this is where the number 4 comes in. Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry?
I would still probably go with Henry.
So I think they're on the same tier. I think that's the same tier.
Yeah.
I think that Austin Eckler and Christian McCaffrey are on their own tier.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's probably 4 or 5 running backs in this tier.
Yeah, I mean, I still like that. So you're right now with your loose rankings, you have Barkley as number 4. I'm guessing that you're going to have Josh Jacobs number 5.
Yeah, good job, Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I like that. I like that.
See, but just imagine if Tom Brady went to just imagine who goes to the Oakland Raiders. So that's what's going to change. But like you said this is January 10th, whatever. So
right.
Continue on. Sorry.
I mean, no, you're right. Because you were even saying, you're talking about that. This could change even if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Titans, I'm like, you better damn well get Derrick Henry and earlier than the ninth pick. But yeah, those are still great choices because we've seen how Barkley he looked pretty good. Is Daniel Jones going to be there next year? We'll see. But what's the Giants coach McAdoo?
Ah, shut up, dude.
No, I can't remember. Seriously, what am I?
A pumpkin pie haircutted freak. No, dude, it's Brian Daboll, like the number one.
Dayball.
He's gonna win Coach of the Year this year.
Oh my gosh, yes, well deserved. They made the playoffs. We'll see what happens with the quarterback situation, with the wide receiver situation. If they have more options, but they don't have to rely on Barkley so much, they can still give them opportunities where they're not having to play the box. So that's still a good pick because, like I said, you know, these are not overall rankings, so you could get Barkley in the late first round, early second round. Same with Josh Jacobs. You could get the guy. I think he was number one in running back this year, right?
Yeah.
You
Well,
could
no,
get
Christian McCaffrey, points per game, he was number one. I think maybe Christian McCaffrey ended up getting more points at the end.
Oh, okay. Well, still, even if he's like number one and number two, you're getting that person in the late first round, early second round. I like it.
He's 20. He's 26 years old, which I thought he's only a year. I thought he was younger for some reason, but he's been in the league a while. He's only a year younger than Christian McCaffrey and Austin Ekeler. So, Saquon Barkley, though, I like the Brian Daboll jump. I bet you they go heavy offensive line. So it's more of a belief in the system. And then Josh Jacobs, I have ranked right below that, which it sounds like you agree with. He's going to be 25 next year. So he's still super young, man.
Yeah, well, let's see who you have for number 6 because Josh Jacobs. I like that. It's funny. I like that guy coming out of college. I like that dude the first 2 years because I'm like he's still going to get better. So doesn't do anything, and it took like his 4th or 5th year before he finally did something. What's going to say that he's going to continue this?
Yeah, and so like
he's had more bad years than good years.
And Nick Bosa said he's the best running back he's ever played against. Period.
Cornbread.
So yeah, I don't even know why you said that. It's like, I love cornbread. So the person I have below Josh Jacobs is the underappreciated Nick Chubb, Jason. So he was like amazing until what's his name took over, Deshaun Watson, and then he had a big. I think he was the top scoring running back week 18, but he's gonna be 27. So he's tied with Christian McCaffrey and Austin Ekeler in age.
Yeah, and is Kareem Hunt going to be there next year?
I think Kareem Hunt's going to probably push hard to get out of there.
Yeah, he wants to probably go start somewhere. Well, I mean, how many consecutive seasons has Nick Chubb at least ran for over 1,000 yards? So like the consistency is there. He just didn't have the touchdowns like he normally does. You can only imagine that the Browns get better next year with Watson actually being able to practice and perform with that team. So they got a good offensive squad, man. You got Mari Cooper, you got Peoples Jones, you got Watson, you got that tight end I can't pronounce, David Njoku.
Njoku, yeah, Njoku's he's awesome.
And you got Nick Chubb. You would think they're going to do better next year. So yeah.
Well, okay, so I think that the end of that tier is. I think I'd rather have Josh. Would you rather have Josh Jacobs or Nick Chubb? Is that easy for you?
That's not easy for me.
Okay, so that's not easy because it's like Nick Chubb was amazing,
Yeah.
Nick Chubb's 2 years older. But Josh Jacobs, man, like he's been around for a while, but it's just like it's hard to trust a Josh McDaniels running back. But I'm assuming they're going to bring somebody in that can win as a quarterback.
If we're going to go based off of age, because Nick Chubb is getting up there, and Nick Chubb might even just run off the high of Georgia becoming national champions yesterday and kill it.
So he's
an old dog, but I think Josh Jacobs would be the better play than.
Okay, so let's call that. So Christian McCaffrey, Austin Ekeler are one tier. I should be marking this down, but it's all recorded. And then Henry, Barkley, Jacobs, and Chubb will be another tier. Because to me, as a Vikings fan, My next player, because this is where we start getting into some questions here. Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
And it's like the opportunity is there, dude. He's the number one running back in that system. And he's hyper talented. But as a Vikings fan, I don't like the new coach's running system whatsoever.
Which was crazy because everyone thought Dalvin Cook was going to benefit from O'Donnell being the coach, but it was quite the opposite. It was Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson really benefit. Well, then again, they were always playing from behind, so they had to throw the ball. Maybe if they were in closer games, because there was a lot of games that they gave up the run because they just needed to get back into it.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe if they get some defensive players or defense improves, they'll be closer, maintain the lead. They'll probably run the ball more.
Because you're probably surprised I have this high, but just we're going to have to see what running back, because dude, running back was pretty thin this year, dude. It's crazy. Yeah. And Dalvin Cook's gonna be 28, so he's a smaller back. But when you see him, dude, run, he still has burst. I think he looks good. As a Vikings fan, I still really like Dalvin Cook. It's just he's not getting the touches. He even knows. He's like, oh yeah, don't worry, I'll be happy no matter, as long as we're winning. I don't need the touches, which means that he knows he's not getting the touches.
Right.
And so Jason, this is like so Tony Pollard was a number 7 overall running back this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is like the biggest question mark for me, man, because I got to see how this offseason goes. But would you, dude, it's so, as a Cowboys fan, would you feel comfortable with Tony Pollard being your number 1 running back?
Right now, what is he? You said number 7, 8? He's number 8?
I think he's number 7 over. Oh, yeah. He's number 8 here on this list, but he's number 7 overall this year.
That means he would be your number 1, and that is... Ooh, man, that's a tough call. And I like how you said that it's like it depends on the offseason, because if that dude goes somewhere and he's a starter from somewhere, yeah, best believe I want that dude. I want him to be my number 1. He could still put up. I don't know. He's kind of slowed down a lot.
He has, and that's the problem, because I was like, dude, this one's so hard. Like this one, this pick is very fluid for me, because like he is not getting the volume of some of these people. Because like, who would you rather have? Like, I know Joe Mixon's still lower on this list, but it's like, would you rather have Joe Mixon or Tony Pollard for your number 1 running back?
I know. It's like just if we're even just going to go off of like average per run, it's definitely not going to be Mixon. It'd be Pollard. He's just so explosive. That one's tough. That's probably the toughest one I think so far.
So maybe Dalvin, I almost want to say maybe Dalvin Cook isn't even in this. Maybe Dalvin Cook is almost like a +1 of the other tier, but
tier of his own.
But we'll go through these, because so Tony Pollard, Jason, and then I have Breece Hall. But Breece Hall is coming off an injury, but he's an amazing. He's 22 years old. Tony Pollard's 26. Dude, Breece Hall is 22 years old.
Yeah, I definitely like that, because even where you have him at, you could probably get that guy in like the 2nd or 3rd round and he be your number 1, and I am okay with that. I like me some Breece Hall. He could play every aspect of the game when it comes to running and catching, and he's great at it. He just needs to not tear his ACL. Hopefully, it's Joe Flacco or Mike White. That's the quarterback.
Yeah, but like, dude, if something happened to Zeke Elliott, you'd much rather have Tony Pollard over Breece Hall. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Zeke Elliott doesn't really miss a lot of time though. He's been pretty durable.
That's the thing. Career. So it's like, I'm thinking I'm going to put Tony Pollard down, but out of respect of this last season, I just feel like I have to put him up above on the top of these question marks, pretty much. So I even have a question mark next to his name. He's the only player I have a question mark next to his name.
So also with him being much younger than Ezekiel Elliott, when are they going to stop giving Ezekiel Elliott all these touches? Right? Make him the goal line back. Make him the goal line back, because that's what he could do. 3rd down. Are they ever going to switch the role? I mean, we see it every year that he just keeps. Luckily, he's got the touchdowns this year, but Ezekiel Elliott keeps regressing. Keeps looking like he's getting older and slower. There's gonna have to
Okay.
be a time where he's just gonna have to get put in as that goal line back or oh my gosh, like third down back.
All right, Jason. So I
I
have
like
got
the question mark.
yeah. So Tony Pollard, but that's fluid. That's just the top of my question. That's the top of these this tier running backs that kind of have question marks on them. Breece Hall, amazing. If you can get you some Breece Hall later, just don't overpay for him because he's coming off of an injury, and who knows if he's going to be playing the first half of the season. Um, Jason, Kenneth Walker. Would you rather have Kenneth Walker or Breece Hall?
I'd rather have Kenneth Walker over Breece Hall.
Because he's not coming off an injury, right?
Yeah, that's exactly why. And he's also playing for a winning team too. Two.
They're both 22.
Oh, okay. 22. Yeah, I really like Kenneth Walker. I've liked him. I've liked Kenneth Walker. He was one of my guys this year. Uh, I guess because you were talking about he has had ankle injuries in the past.
All the
So
way
it's
back
like
to high school, yeah.
so. I mean, also look what happened to J.K. Dobbins this year, right? He came back from an ACL injury. He played a few games, and then he had to go back to rest and get it like a little scraped out and miss more games. Is that a possibility that Breece Hall is going to go through that? And is Kenneth Walker going to have to miss games because he's got weak ankles?
Yeah, so I think all that's valid, and I think that see, like this helps talking it out because I was just like, dude, Breece Hall, man, I love freaking Breece Hall. I'm all looking at his points per game stats. I'm like, holy crap!
Yeah,
But I loved Kenneth Walker, man. Like watching him, like the way he set up, like the second level stuff was insane. I thought he was gonna be a league winner this year, but then I learned about his injuries and stuff. And like I said, you can't predict injuries, but this is something that goes all. It's like Todd Gurley's knees. Eventually that was gonna break down. Um, but so I think that we can say that Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall are almost equal. I'd say it's
yeah.
more of a
No,
personal decision. And like right now, I'm leaning Kenneth Walker. It does suck that he plays the 49ers twice a year, but then you look at Breece Hall, man, he's playing that division's crazy anyway. So
I think there's benefits for both plays. Like, how can you go wrong with either one?
okay, so we got Tony Pollard the question mark, and then we have the two young studs, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, and then under that, Jason, off of volume and when he plays, dude, he looks amazing. His team is garbage. Jonathan Taylor, he's
Yeah.
24. He's only 24 next year. He's only 24.
There's a chance that he could be a steal for when. So what number is he at?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, he's 11th, but I will say that Tony Pollard probably should be behind him. Like I said, I just have him up there out of respect.
Yeah,
Um, so let's just say he's
10,
number 10. He's like number 10 right now, and he
10 or
went number
11.
one.
I think it's still normally like a number one. If Jonathan Taylor's there that late, I think just by what this guy could do, I think that'd be a good pick. This could
We
have
did.
just been a fluke, like it just amazes me that he did so well with Carson Wentz, and Carson Wentz was horrible. They had to get rid of him for Matt Ryan. He did have the injury bug this year. We seen what that offensive line could do. At time, it was like the best offensive running line in the league.
Yeah.
Maybe this was just one of those seasons where things were just not going right. Um, they play the Texans twice, who had like the worst rushing defense in the league. I also think like man, because I keep wanting to think for the future, but it's not like he's coming off like an ACL injury. I think if you're getting in that late, I like that.
Well, would you rather have Jonathan Taylor or those two young studs?
Two young studs.
Okay, would you rather have Jonathan?
Jonathan Taylor is young too. What is he like 23, 24?
I know, man, but it would just that team has just been such a dumpster fire, dude. Like,
Yeah.
and I got scorned by Michael Pittman just because of that, dude. That offensive line, I watched it a lot. It was so bad. Um, but they still have, God, I can't think of his name, the best Quentin Nelson. So like they
Yeah.
have a chance to turn it around, but dude, it was so bad. Uh, so would you rather have Jonathan Taylor or Joe Mixon?
This is where I'm stumped.
Would you rather
I
have
have bad feelings for Joe Mixon. I have great feelings for Jonathan Taylor. Mixon is definitely on the better team. He should be producing better, but can't. Uh, take away Joe Mixon's 55-point game that he got. How many points did he actually score this year?
You had him.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like he didn't really produce a lot. His numbers are going to be a little bit higher just because he had that one monster game. He still didn't do anything after that. He missed some time too with the concussion. I think he missed like 2 games. It's just like I want to think for the future, but I guess as of right now, without any changes being done, it would still be Joe Mixon.
So we got Joe Mixon over Jonathan Taylor. Right now, I had Jonathan Taylor over Joe Mixon, but after watching that game, man, on Sunday, I was like, dude, Joe Mixon has got it. He's got it, man. And plus, it's like, dude, that offensive line is really good now. And Joe Burrow, I think I'd take my chances and go Joe Mixon over Jonathan Taylor. See, you just changed my mind there. And then, well, would you rather have Jonathan Taylor or Najee Harris?
Oh my gosh. See, like
See? These are all the same tier, Jason. These are all in the same tier.
I think I would rather have Jonathan Taylor.
I've got Jonathan Taylor ranked ahead of Najee Harris.
Yeah, Najee Harris, like he gets the volume, no doubt about it. He gets the volume. He does not produce a lot with that volume. Is it his fault? I don't think so.
Talent, dude. Like he doesn't like his eye test. Like he just looks like a good running back. Jonathan Taylor looks like holy crap, dude. Like this guy is nuts. So,
you're dealing with not the best line in the league. Now you have a rookie quarterback. Maybe they do a little bit better next year because the quarterback's going to have some experience. You got George Pickens, who's going to come out as the number 2 in his second year. See how that goes. He got a touchdown last game.
Steelers have been killing it, man. Like, and I do like Kenny Pickens. Pros like Kenny Pickens. I just don't believe in the offensive line.
That's what it is. It's the
Their offensive line is garbage, and guess what? It's been garbage, and it's probably going to be garbage. So, like, I'm basing a lot of my fantasy opinions next year on offensive lines.
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather go. So we're going Jonathan Taylor over Najee, Joe Mixon over both of them, Dameon Pierce or Jonathan Taylor.
And we're not thinking into the future, correct?
Just right now.
Jonathan Taylor.
Me too. I've got Dameon Pierce under that. So Dameon Pierce or Najee Harris.
Najee Harris.
So I had Najee Harris until I started doing some research on how good I think I'm gonna. It's tough, dude. That's like it's pretty split for me between Najee and Dameon, but I think when I get into the numbers and stuff, I'm gonna go Najee because Houston is just so bad, and who knows, like if Caleb Williams is gonna come out next year, dude. There's just a lot of stuff going on with them.
Yeah.
So I think that's the end of tier for us. So we're gonna go Joe Mixon with 2 young studs, Joe Mixon, Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris, Dameon Pierce. Then I think that is a tier-ish. And then I've got Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara. They're both 28. Like Alvin Kamara looked washed this year.
I think we talk about I brought it up in the last episode. I'm very concerned about Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon for future draft picks. I am not too concerned with Alvin Kamara. I don't think he did well this year, but I also think it was also the offensive scheme. Like, you had Andy Dalton as your quarterback. You were having to put Taysom Hill back there just to do something with your life. But we're not thinking about the future.
What do you think about the end of a tier? Because like Najee Harris is probably definitively better. I mean, Dameon Pierce, usage wise and stuff.
I don't think you can do what
is probably better than the Alvin Kamara and Aaron Jones situation. You think?
Who is?
Dameon Pierce, because that's the bottom. That's
yeah.
So I think that's the end of that tier. So I think that is and there is another couple running backs we could almost talk ourselves into bringing up there, but maybe just one. But like I think that Aaron Jones and Alvin Kamara are interchangeable. Like they're both the same age. They're both probably going to split carries with somebody else, and just they're trending down. So I think that they're going to be in the running back dead zone ish. Not really next year. I would like the people available like wide receivers and stuff at the same time. You're going to probably want to pick over these dudes. But if they fall, they could like be Josh. Alvin Kamara. I think over Aaron Jones could be the Josh Jacobs. Of like just slipping and nobody believing in.
Yes.
So I think maybe I would take Alvin Kamara before Aaron Jones.
I agree with that 100%. I was
Okay.
just thinking that I think Alvin Kamara has definitely more of an upside than Aaron Jones. And if anyone's going to have a better season or have a chance to have, a higher play better than their value of where they got picked at, I think it'd be Alvin Kamara.
All right, Jason, and then I'm all in on this dude, this guy right here. I've been
Okay.
all about him for a while. Tyler Allgeier. He's 23 years old. They run the crap out of the ball. Like he's talking about volume, but just dude, their coaching scheme is so messed up. I don't even know if they're keeping the coach.
Yeah.
It just, but I liked what I saw from Tyler Allgeier. So, how do you feel about that?
I think he's a good running back. He just plays on a crappy team and had to play with Mariota for most of the year. And then, they threw in that rookie Riddler.
He did not get his revenge either.
No. But
Supposed to go. Don't you have a button for? Don't.
no, what is it?
Awesome.
I don't have I have
Uh, hey, Jason, would you rather have him or Etienne?
Etienne.
Okay, so I did not like how Etienne like he is fragile, man. Like, and when it comes to like a run stopping team, he really does get stopped. But he is so explosive, and I do like him. I think that you were right to get Etienne because because I'm going to predict that Trevor Lawrence is going to explode next year. He's going to explode everywhere. The bathroom, the kitchen, he doesn't care. He's going to explode wherever he wants.
He's like gonna be like a dump truck, and he's just gonna explode everywhere, man.
That's terrible. uh, but so Etienne and Algier, I kind of have in the same tier because I like the volume of Algier and I like the talent of Etienne, and I just like the Jaguar situation, man. And then, would you rather have those two young guys over James Conner?
You know what? It kind of sucks because I was the guy who picked up James Conner his breakout year, and I traded him away thinking that he wasn't going to continue to be as good as he did playing for the Steelers. And no, he continued. He had pretty good seasons there, but I always wanted deep down. I was like, no, he was worth the trade. He was worth the trade to get rid of him. Yeah, Um, so he's been a guy that's like even with when he's gone to the Cardinals and he's like scoring all like these goal line touchdowns. I'm like, he only had 3 touchdowns this game. Big whoop. I think they still use him quite a bit. They got rid of they
He's
traded away,
28.
got rid of Chase Edmonds. Um, I
I
think he's
think
very touchdown dependent, but he gets the touchdowns. I don't think you're going to see any spectacular games out of him where he's rushing for like 150 yards and 2 touchdowns and 70 yards reception. But he's gonna get the touchdowns. Who was it? Who'd you ask if it was over?
the young guys, Tyler Algier and Etienne.
Maybe not Etienne. I really like Et. He's a player that I'm really enjoying. I think just in general, like Jacksonville, I really like where they're going. They have a good possibility to win that division again next year. I want to see Trevor Lawrence do well. I want to see that guy just be killing it in this league for years to come. And
All
with
right.
that, you're going to need a guy like Et.
Yeah. So okay. So that's okay. We're all good on that. Young guys over James Conner. James Conner, Algier. We'll see how that goes. Javonte Williams is only going to be 23 next year, Jason, but he's coming off that major injury. And you just talked about Gus. So that's, I think we're just going to finish this up on one video. We have 30 seconds left. Javonte Williams, 23. Then we get into the two old dudes, dude, Mostert and McKinnon. I just want to know if you would trust either of those two next year.
McKinnon. I would trust McKinnon over Mostert.
So you were as if they don't draft anybody, you'd be in on McKinnon.
Yep.
And you'd probably have him up. You wouldn't put him up in the Najee Harris, Dameon Pierce category.
No, not that high.
Okay, so Jason, I think that we agree on a lot, and what we really agree on is our tiers. So, and
That's
we're
why
gonna
we play.
well, I tried to get it all on one video, but it did not work out, Jason. So we were just talking about, we're finishing this video up. How do you feel about Javonte Williams? Is like being, below the Etienne, James Conner, Tyler Allgeier?
I think Javonte Williams is probably at the perfect spot. The perfect spot. His leg injury, those are hard for, anybody to come back. It's just, it's crazy how we always think, like, look what Adrian Peterson did when he, like, messed up his leg. That really changed the way leg or ACLs are repaired. But then you got to start to think, like, okay, he is still playing for the Broncos. What's going to happen there? So, with that being said, with the question marks, I like exactly where he's at.
All right, and then you said that you were in on McKinnon. He's so these guys are 31. Raheem Mostert and Jerick McKinnon. I just think the starting running back position for oh my god, dude, Mike McDaniels is going to be valuable, especially in the second year. It's just, dude. I mean, how you're going to trust Mostert? And you said that you'd have McKinnon over Mostert.
Yeah, I would, and that's just because how I've seen him finish this season, where it's like when he's going in, when you're in the end zone and they're not running it, he's getting a touchdown pass.
Heck yeah! And then, so would you have McKinnon or Javonte Williams?
Probably we're going to go with value. I still believe in Javonte Williams. I still think he's a good back. He is playing for the Broncos. The Broncos, oh, man, not thinking for the future. I got to think right now. This hurts, Tyler.
You guys are all going crossed.
It hurts the brain. I would probably, as of right now, as of January 10th, 2023, I would go with Javonte Williams.
All right. So this is rounding our stuff out then.
Can I explain why?
Yeah, no, this is good. So we have Christian McCaffrey and Ekeler. No. Should you explain why? Is that?
I was like, yes. I was like, can I explain why? And you're like,
oh no, do it. No, I'm so sorry. I was like, I feel bad for keeping you on here for so long. So I was trying to get you off fast.
Oh no, you're fine. The reason why I say that is because Javonte Williams is not going to have to worry about Latavius Murray. There is a chance that Jerick McKinnon is going to have to worry about Isaiah Pacheco. Maybe.
I don't think they're ever going to throw the ball to Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, and then see that's also a thing. He may not even get that involved. Maybe Andy Reid switches everything and brings back Edwards and gets rid of McKinnon, sells him. I don't know.
Yeah, well, he's barely missing this. I mean, McKinnon and Pacheco. I mean, I don't know, dude. You'd have to have McKinnon way over Pacheco. So Pacheco's not far down off this list. So Jason, you and I. So right now we've got the tier of Christian McCaffrey, Austin Ekeler. We have a tier of Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Nick Chubb, and maybe Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's a maybe on that tier. And then we have a tier list of Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, but we have Kenneth Walker over Breece Hall now. And then Joe Mixon, Jonathan Taylor, I think Najee Harris, Dameon Pierce. And that's the end of that tier. And then we have Kamara, then Jones, Etienne, Allgeier, James Conner, Javonte Williams, McKinnon, and Mostert. And that's that whole bottom one, I think, is pretty close to the end of a tier, but yeah. Because then Pacheco will probably be on top of that next year.
Ezekiel wasn't even on that.
Yeah, I'm kind of like
I'm just like thinking of players. Leonard Fournette wasn't even on it.
I know.
Um,
It's like those players are like the next 5 players.
Like nobody from the Redskins.
Just Brian Robinson, dude, you know what?
Or the Ravens.
I always forget about Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson's like going to be really close to this too. Because I'd still rather have McKinnon than a Brian Robinson.
Right. Me too.
So I think that this is good, but I think that the next tier running backs are more of the people that we're going to get for our number 2 or number 3s.
Right. I was just thinking it was just like, because there's 32 teams, but that just shows you that not every team even has a worthy running back that you want to get in the top 20. So it's like there's slim pickings out there.
But still, dude, there's still so many busts on running backs relative to wide receivers. Like, yeah, like the scarcity is there on running backs, but dude, they're not reliable. Not nearly as reliable as wide receivers.
Yeah. Times are changing.
So anyways, yeah, so this is our top 23 running backs. I'm gonna put top 20 in the description. It's also, probably our tier list going into next year. Tears of joy, tears of pain, all kinds of tears. So thank you so much for watching this. If you don't agree, just leave a comment, man. Let us know what you think, because talking this stuff over is what helps, everything. And this is kind of a good exercise to do it without like analytics and stats. And I have not even looked at anybody else's list of anything. This is just, looking at your fantasy league top 20 running backs and seeing which ones you'd want. So,
yep. Next year's fantasy football starts now.
Woo, woo, woo. Except for we are going to get into the fantasy football playoff challenge, Jason. I know we're going to be coming out with rankings videos, stuff like that. We'll mix it up.
Yeah, I'm going to make my team tonight.
Oh, yeah. So I was trying to pick on my phone. It would not let me pick Christian McCaffrey for some reason. So I'm going to try to do it on my laptop.
Interesting.
Because I was like, the 49ers are playing Seattle in the first round.
Oh,
it's like, how
running back? Who are you going to pick? Pretty sure I am going to get McCaffrey as well.
He's 83% picked right now. So
sure. Maybe I'm going to be a ride or die and just get McKinnon.
Yeah, that's true. See, I mean, that's not a bad idea, but I'm thinking, I know it's either that or Bengals, dude. Like, are you going to pick the Chiefs or the Bengals?
Well, I'm picking Bengals. I want to get Joe Burrow. I want to get Jamar Chase.
And the Bengals are playing this week. They're not even on a bye. So I was thinking about going Bengals just on that.
Yep. I'd be very, very, very surprised if the wounded Ravens take down the stellar Bengals.
Me too. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe or dislike, leave hurtful comments if you want, whatever you need to do. Jason, thank you for, requesting to be on this show, man. That was awesome. It helped a lot. Like, it really did help a lot, because otherwise I'd just be talking to myself, and that doesn't really help in this exercise. So
this was fun. I enjoyed it. Even though I had rankings.
I know. Was it easy for you?
Yeah. It's very easy to express my opinion.
I know. Well, I was just like, usually we've got so much research into these videos, like, oh my God, man. Yeah. This is just gut feeling type of stuff.
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, man. Well, everybody, we will catch you on the flip side.
Yeah.